Hello everyone, welcome back to ByteWise Academy. In our previous videos, we learned about input devices, output devices, and storage devices. Today, we are going to understand one of the most fundamental concepts in computers, hardware and software. Many beginners get confused between these two terms, but by the end of this video, you will clearly understand what hardware is, what software is, how they differ, and why a computer needs both to function. So let's get started now. Before we begin, let's quickly revise what we learned in our previous videos. Input devices are devices used to enter data into a computer. Example including keyboard, mouse, microphone, and scanner. Output devices display the results after the computer processes the data. Example includes the monitor, printer, speaker, and projector. Storage devices are used to save data permanently or temporarily. Examples including hard disks, SSDs, pen drives, CDs, DVDs, and memory cards. Now, let's see where hardware and software fit into this picture. Hardware refers to all the physical components of a computer. In simple words, if you can see it and touch it, it is hardware. Examples of hardware include keyboard, mouse, monitor, CPU cabinet, printer, speakers, hard disk, RAM, motherboard, and so on. Think about your laptop now. The screen you are looking at is a hardware. The keyboard you type on is hardware. Even the tiny electronic parts inside the computer are hardware. Hardware performs the actual physical work, but by itself, it cannot do anything. It needs instructions, and those instructions come from software. Okay, so hardware is something that is physical and you can touch it. Remember this, you can touch the any computer part that you can touch and feel is called as a hardware. Now let's see how a hardware works and coordinates with one another. And before moving to that, we will see what are different types of hardwares. Hardware can be divided into several categories: input devices, output devices, storage devices, processing devices, communication devices, like that. So let us see what are input devices. These allows users to enter data into the computer. We already know this, right? Examples including keyboard, mouse, scanner, webcam, and microphone. Output devices, these displays the processed information. Example including monitors, printers, projectors, and speakers. Storage devices are the ones which store data for future use. Examples including HDDs, SSDs, pen drives, and memory cards. Processing devices are the CPU, also known as the brain of the computer, processes all instructions. RAM temporarily stores data while programs are running. And finally, the communication devices. These allow computers to connect to networks. Example including Wi-Fi adapters, routers, modems, and network cards. Okay, so all these are the different types of hardware devices. Hardware can include input devices, output devices, storage devices, processing devices, and communication devices as well. So far we have seen input devices, output devices, and storage devices. We are well known, these concepts are well known to us. And what are these processing devices and communication devices that we did not see so far? But in every video of ours, we have been saying that the process cycle is IPO: input, processing, and output. So the processing is the main important part in a computer, that is done in CPU. CPU is nothing but the central processing unit, which is also called as the brain of a computer. Okay, and memory also, that means the storage part, one of the primary storage, which is nothing but the RAM and ROM, also takes place during this processing part of it, and it is included within the processing devices. And the communication devices. Communication devices are the ones through which we connect to a network to communicate with each other. Okay, and now let us see these communication devices. We will talk about it in later classes. Okay, so now let us see what is software. Software is something, let's understand what it is right now. Software is a collection of programs and instructions that tells the hardware what to do. Unlike hardware, software cannot be touched. Okay, so what is a software means? Software is a set of instructions or a set of programs that tells the hardware what to do. So we know computer is a machine and which does not have the thinking ability. So we have different parts in a computer, like different hardware devices, like input devices, output devices, storage devices. All these devices are connected with each other. So we have to make those devices communicate with each other efficiently. In order to do that, we need a set of instructions or a set of programs to do that task for us. So that set of instructions, those set of lines of instructions is called as a software. It exists as digital code stored inside a computer. So these set of instructions exist as a digital code. In a previous video, we have already discussed that the computer can only understand digital language, which is nothing but zeros and ones. So this software or set of instructions is also a digital code. Okay, so the software exists in the form of a digital code and this is stored inside a computer. What are the examples means? The examples are Windows, Linux, Android, Google Chrome, Microsoft Word, VLC Media Player, Photoshop, and so on. There are different types of softwares. There are so many softwares we have today. Imagine buying a brand new laptop. Okay, if it has no operating system or application installed, you won't be able to do much of it. That's because hardware alone is not enough to do a task. It needs software to become useful. Okay, now let us imagine a real world situation. Let's imagine buying a brand new laptop. We are going to buy a laptop. If it has no operating system or it has no set of instructions installed onto it, you won't be able to do much with it. You cannot do anything. Having simply a laptop doesn't mean that it can do anything for you. The set of instructions are to be loaded onto it so that you can make better use of it. That's because hardware alone is not enough for doing a task. It needs software to become useful, to be helpful to us. So now let us see what are the different types of software. Software is mainly divided into two broad categories. Those are system software and application software. So system software controls the computer itself. It acts as a bridge between hardware and the user. So system software is something that controls a computer itself. It controls the whole computer. It acts as a bridge between hardware and the user. Examples including operating systems such as Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and Android. Device drivers are also system softwares because they help hardware communicate with the operating system. Utility programs such as antivirus software and disk cleanup tools also belong to this category. Okay, so the system software acts as a bridge between hardware and the user. User can communicate to the hardware, so computer's hardware, through a software which is nothing but a system software. Okay, that system software's examples are Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and Android, and so on. Device drivers. Device drivers are also system software because they help hardware communicate with the operating system. Okay, they help the hardware devices to communicate with the operating system. Utility programs such as antivirus softwares and disk cleanup tools also belongs to this category. Understand? Now let us see what is application software. Application software helps users perform specific tasks. Examples including Microsoft Word for creating documents, Google Chrome for browsing the internet, VLC Media Player for playing videos, Adobe Photoshop for editing images. Games and educational apps are also application software. Without system software, application software cannot run properly. Understand? So you have apps, right? Like say for example, now we are using WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Microsoft Word, Google Chrome, VLC Media Player, Adobe Photoshop, and all these things. So with these apps, the user directly interacts. Such applications are called as application software. These application softwares are all installed on top of the system software, which is the operating system. So system software is operating system. It is a bridge between the user and the computer, and the application softwares are all installed on top of the system software, on top of the bridge, so that user can make use of those applications. Okay, so now we have seen what are two broad categories of software. Those are nothing but the system software and the application software. Now let us see what is the comparison between hardware and software. Now let's compare hardware and software. Hardware is physical while software is digital, right? Hardware can be touched whereas software cannot be touched. Hardware is manufactured in factories while software is developed by programmers. Hardware may wear out over time due to physical damage or aging. Software doesn't wear out physically, but it can become outdated, corrupted, or incompatible. Most importantly, hardware and software depend on each other. Without software, hardware is useless. Without hardware, software cannot run. Both are equally important for a computer to function according to the user's needs. Okay, so without software, there is no use of hardware, and without hardware, software cannot run. Right. They both are interrelated, interconnected with each other. So we said that hardware and software work together to make a computer useful for users. So now let us see how they work together. Let's understand this with an example. Suppose you want to open Google Chrome. First, you click the Chrome icon using your mouse. The mouse sends this input to the CPU. The operating system receives the command. The CPU loads Chrome from storage into the RAM. The processor executes the instructions. Finally, Chrome appears on your monitor. Notice how every component works together. The mouse, CPU, RAM, storage devices, and monitor are hardware. Chrome and Windows are software. Only when both work together does the computer perform the task. Okay, so now we are seeing an example of Google Chrome. Opening a Google Chrome as the real world example to understand how hardware and software work together. So these are the sequence of steps that we follow to open Chrome. So once we click on the Chrome using the mouse is a hardware, but we are clicking on a application software which is nothing but Google Chrome. So when we do that, the mouse sends this input to the CPU, which is the processor. The operating system receives the command. Through the CPU, the operating system, which is the system software, receives this command. The CPU loads Chrome from storage into the RAM. From the storage, the OS picks this command and places it onto the RAM. The processor executes the instructions. Finally, Chrome appears on your monitor. Okay? So, let us understand this with a real life analogy. Let's use a simple analogy. Think of a human body. Your body is like hardware. Your brain and mind are like software. The body performs physical actions, but the brain tells it what to do. Similarly, computer hardware performs the work while software provides the instructions. Without the brain, the body cannot function properly. Without software, hardware cannot perform useful tasks. Okay, so far we have seen what is software, what is hardware, and what are different types of hardware devices, and what are the broader categorization of softwares and all that. So now let's have a quick quiz. Can software be touched? Name one system software, which is hardware, keyboard, or Microsoft Word. Give our answers in comments. And one more question is, which software is used to browse the internet? So let's quickly summarize today's lesson. Hardware consists of all the physical parts of a computer. Software consists of programs and instructions. Hardware can be touched. Software cannot be touched. Hardware and software depend on each other. Together, they make a computer functional. Understanding the concept is essential because almost every computer topic you will learn in the future builds on it. So, in the next video coming up, we will learn about operating systems. We will answer questions like, what is an operating system? Why do computers need an operating system? What are its functions? What are the different types of operating systems? It's one of the most important topics in computer fundamentals, so don't miss it out. And thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please share, like, and subscribe to ByteWise Academy. Also, click the notification bell so you never miss out upcoming computer science lessons. See you in the next video. Happy learning. Thank you.